Welcome back to Just Add Seasoning. Today we're looking at 4 silhouettes, so let's jump straight into the upcoming tab and see what we've got. First up, on the 18th of March, we've got an Air Force 1. This is the Air Force 1 Silver Snake. The Air Force 1 Silver Snake is a retro from 2001, so it's been 20 years since this dropped the first time, and they're retroing it now. I'd really love a pattern swoosh on an Air Force 1. In fact, I love a pattern swoosh on any Nike, so I really like this snakeskin swoosh. Don't worry, it is faux snakeskin, it's not genuine snakes they've got in the Nike factory cutting them up and whatnot. Alongside that, all of the black leather that you can see is like a black tumbled leather, and the silver that you can see are like silver reflective panels, so they're getting you ready for the reopening of all the clubs, ready to show off your reflective sneakers. Although I absolutely love this colorway, for me the best Air Force 1 they'll ever make is the white on white on white, the triple white Air Force 1. I'm not usually a white sneaker kind of guy, but on an Air Force 1, white on white just works for some reason. This Silver Snake retro actually dropped in the US mid-February, so we're getting this over a month later than the US got it. So we do actually have some sales data to look at on StockX to see if it's whether picking this up for the resale or if it's just for a personal. Let's jump into StockX now. Here we go. The high for this is a US 4.5, UK 3.5, which is £124. You'd actually take home £108.50, so even at the highest bid, currently, you wouldn't make any profit on this shoe. The lows are anywhere from sort of mid-50s up to the £80 mark, and even some more figures between there and retail itself. So if you're looking to get one of these, I'd just buy it retail and use it for a personal. It's not really a resale shoe. The fact that it's been in the US for so long, you can see the sales data here. Just shows it's been on the slide from the day it launched, basically. There might be a slight uptick on the day it launches in the UK, but then it'll plummet again because the amount of extra stock that the European market will put into StockX will crash the price of this even further, I think. But as I said, if you're into sneakers like myself, this is an amazing personal. Next on the list. So the next on the list is an interesting one. It's actually a new silhouette. It's not a retro. Well, it's not a new silhouette. It's a new colorway on a retro Air Max 90 silhouette. Let's get that right. But it's almost becoming rare now to see a new colorway on sneakers because there's so many retros that come out. But this is the Air Max 90 Future is Clear. Now it doesn't say this on sneakers specifically, but I've done a bit of research on this. A lot of German websites, for some reason, seem to have a lot of articles about this sneaker, and it looks like this is a women's shoe. Of course, no problem at all, a guy wearing women's colorway, but it's just something to keep in mind. I suppose that is backed up because it's got these sort of sparkly little bits, shimmery bits in the tongue, in the toe box, in the collar as well. I think it's got little shimmery bits in it as well. In the description, I think they actually refer to it as speckled foil. You can see on the side of the shoe, I don't know if it's about, here, this side panel is actually translucent, so it's tinted green, but it actually, it's opaque, so you can see a little bit of the shape of the foot inside the shoe, which is, a sort of futuristic look, which I suppose is what they're going for with the Future is Clear messaging on the shoe. Also on this we've got, let's see if I can find a clear picture of it. I don't know if I will actually. Oh, here we go. So here there's like a clear, I'm going to call it a lace ornament, a lace trinket I think they're probably called, which is a clear Nike swoosh. I think that's also got some shimmery bits of foil in it as well, which all, as I said, sort of nods to the fact that it is probably a women's shoe. One thing that's interesting about the description on this is that it says that it uses screen printed graphics. Now, I can't really see what on this shoe would possibly have been screen printed. The only thing I can possibly see is maybe around the collar. There's some lines on the collar, but apart from that, I can't work out what they've actually screen printed on this shoe. And I don't think it's one of the tearaway designs that Nike do, because that would be awesome. I would buy this and wear this if if it did have the screen printing underneath, like the Jordan 5 CNYs, like the Carpet Company dunks that we saw a couple of weeks ago. But I don't think that's the case here, or else I think they would have shown the sneaker with and without the tearaway. The future is clear. Air Max 90 isn't on US sneakers yet. It isn't on StockX yet. On StockX, collaborations on Air Max 90s tend to do really well. Special colorways, like we got the retro of the Air Max 90 Bacon coming up. I think that's the 26th on Air Max Day. They're re-releasing that. But GR releases of Air Max 90s don't tend to do so well, so especially with this being a women's pair, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for the resale. Let's move on to the next shoe. On the 20th of March, we've got the Air Jordan 5. This is dropping in the Stealth colorway, and again, this is a retro of an old OG shoe from 2006 this time. Now, as I said when I was referring to the Air Force Ones earlier, I like the triple whites in those, but I'm not generally a white sneaker kind of guy, just because of how unbelievably hard it is to keep them clean, apart from nothing else. In the description for the Jordan 5 Stealth, it mentions that this is a subtle twist on the OG version of the shoe. So I've had a quick look at the OG version. I've had obviously a look through this sneaker here, and I picked out a few of the things that are different between the two. So the first of those things is that the backwards flames that you can see here on the side of the shoe are this time in black rather than the blue that we saw on the OGs. You can see here the Jumpman on the back is in black rather than in blue again. So basically what they're doing is just adding more hits of black and less hits of blue. Less hits of blue. The liner for the tongue is also black rather than blue again, but the liner for the rest of the inside of the shoe is that stays in blue like the OG has. The sole on these, you can see here, is icy blue rather than the sort of transparent clear material that they used last time, which they didn't realize at the time, but over time it just went yellow. So if you look at OG pairs of these now, that nice transparent sole and the transparent rubbery mesh netting at the side, you can see here, they've both gone really yellow on every OG pair that's still surviving today. Another thing they've done is they've changed out the grey fabric tongue on these for a reflective silver tongue like we've just seen on the Air Force 1 Silver Snakes. So this is the actual reflective silver material again that Nike have decided to use here. One thing that stays the same, I think is really good, is you can see from the description they are also keeping from the OG version the all-white genuine leather upper. So let's have a look at StockX, see what's happening over there. So we can see here this is the OG version that I mentioned earlier. You can see the sides and the bottom with the yellowed out rubber that started in a more transparent clear colour. But the selling range for these at the moment, you can see they've gone up and up and up lately. The selling range seems to be between £160 and £240, which is okay. But I mean, considering the new ones retail at £165, even if you were getting those sort of prices, you wouldn't be able to make a huge amount on that. Let's have a look at the new ones now. Okay, so the high that we got here is a US 13, UK 12 at £195. You take home 170, so there's really very, very tiny bit of profit to be made there, but that's the highest offer on that one specific size. At the lower end, we've got a US 7 or UK 6 at £130. So you'd actually take home 113 and make a loss on the retail. So as it stands, I don't think these are worth buying for the resale, but obviously definitely buy them if you want a good quality pair of Jordan 5s and white sneakers is your thing. Moving on to the final sneaker. On the 27th of March, we've got the Air Jordan 3 in Midnight Navy. So I absolutely love elephant print on Jordans, so these have got my attention a little bit straight away. But to be honest, overall, this isn't my favourite colourway I've ever seen on a Jordan 3. I think there's just too much navy. It's almost an oppressive amount of navy on these. In the description for these, it mentions that these nod to PEs or player exclusives from one of basketball's leading institutions, otherwise known as Georgetown University. Now, there are actually some Georgetown University player exclusive shoes on StockX, amazingly enough, because these literally are, as it says, player exclusives. They are exclusive to the athletes who are part of the Georgetown Basketball Academy. So let's have a quick look at StockX to see what those are doing. So we can see here that the Georgetown genuine player exclusive Jordan 3s are actually a really good looking sneaker. They've got just enough elephant print, but it's not too much. They've got a nice grey across the shoe. They've got just enough midnight navy, but it's not the impressive amount that we've got with this variation. It's no surprise that the genuine Georgetown player exclusives are quite rare. Only 2 have ever been sold on StockX by the looks of it, both in the mid £3,000 mark and both in quite large sizes, size 11 and size 14. Basketball players are usually very tall. If you're very tall, that means you've got big feet. If you've got big feet, that usually means you've got quite big shoes. Let's see if the ones that we can get on sneakers at the moment are going to be worth anywhere near what these are worth. Hint, they're not going to be. As it stands on the instant sell, we've got a high of a US 11 or a UK 10 for £211. You'd take home £184. So again, against that £165 retail price, there's not a huge amount of money to be made here, and that's at the highest bid on that specific size. Let's see what we've got on the lower end. It looks like on the lower end we've got a US 7.5 or a UK 6.5 for 143. You take home 125, and a nice healthy loss of £40. So these aren't necessarily a resale piece. Again, if you like them, get them for a personal. You got to really like midnight navy for these and make that work. But I'm sure a lot of you out there probably can. The problem we have with this sneaker in Europe is that we get these on the 27th of March. However, the US get them on the 20th of March. That means prices will probably peak around the 20th. Then they'll start to tail off after around the 21st. And by the time we get them, we'll just flood the market with even more, and prices will probably drop even more again. So that's everything to consider when you're looking at the Jordan 3 Midnight Navy. I genuinely really like the Jordan 3 silhouette, but there's got to be a limit to the amount of navy that you can wear on your feet. I hope this has added some seasoning to your sneaker collections, and you know which sneakers you're going to be going for and which drops you do not think are hot. It almost rhymed. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.